Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and here I am going to be teaching you how to perform reservoir simulation making use of one of the most popular and most powerful simulator in the industry, ECLIPSE. So we all know that these skills are very scarce skills, especially on the internet, and it's very rare for you to find it free, but I am offering it to you for free. Because at this time everyone is at home due to this coronavirus lockdown, and I hope you all are keeping safe and you are practicing the social distancing culture. Okay, that's what we have to deal with for now, and certainly this will be over. But by the time this is over, a lot of us will have learned one or two new skills, and this is going to be from other people as well. So I am offering my own skill, my own time too, to share the little I know with you guys. Okay, and this course, I promise it's going to be worth it. Okay, I'm going to pour all of myself out to you. What you can do for me right now is to ensure that you are subscribed to this channel, and you should also turn on notifications so that whenever I drop a new video, you're going to find it. In fact, in the course of the training, I would love to hold some live sessions sometimes, so that together we can work on a live project and share real-time information. I mean, it's going to be fun, and I feel it's also going to enhance learning. Okay, so you want to subscribe and turn on notifications. Okay, now this is going to be the first video in this series, and in this very video I want to take our time to talk about the things we are going to cover, and also for us to be on the same page on the tools that we need to participate in this training. Okay, and in addition to that, I am also going to briefly introduce you to the ECLIPSE software. So we are going to learn a couple of things, a few things about the ECLIPSE simulator in this video. Now let me talk about the people that can take this course. If you are a petroleum engineer that have interest in reservoir simulation, reservoir engineering, this course is for you primarily. If you are a petroleum geologist who of course will be working with reservoir engineers all the time, you also want to learn a couple of things about what they do. If you are a geologist, a petrophysicist, yeah, this course is for you. And it's no more news again, right, that we have a lot of mechanical and chemical engineers who are even very good reservoir engineers. Okay, so if you are a chemical engineer and you love new knowledge, you love challenges, or you have intention of switching career, yeah, you can also take this course, participate. Okay, let's talk about the tools that we need to work with in this course to participate fully in this course. You need to have the ECLIPSE simulator installed on your computer. So this means you need to have a computer, maybe a laptop or a desktop, whatever, and it's supposed to be running a version of Windows operating system. Then you will have to install ECLIPSE program on it. Okay, any version of ECLIPSE would work. I am going to be using the 2010 version of ECLIPSE, but whichever one you have is fine. Okay, and then we are going to need some input data, some data sets that we're going to use to describe a reservoir. Now if you have any data to work with, it's fine. If you want to share with the other people, it's also okay, but I am going to be providing you with some data set as well. Okay, now for this course, this YouTube course, I have some data which I have set aside that we're going to use. So we have two sets of data here. The first one is data for a demo model. We're going to talk about this one today. So it's a demo data that comes with ECLIPSE. So if you install your ECLIPSE on your computer, you should have access to this data. But that's not going to be a problem even if you don't have access to this data. I am going to share this one. Just look below and then you'll find a link to download this file. Then the other set of data is a very detailed data set. Okay, so this one contains just about everything you would need to build a standard model of a reservoir. So we'll have core data, we have PVT data and well tests, we have well logs data, so that means we have wells, and then we have some deviation data, and then we have a static model. Okay, we have a model which has been created to describe the geology of the reservoir. So we're going to extract our grid from here. This model has been created with PETREL software. So this means that to extract this information, we're going to use PETREL. So I'm also going to show you how to extract those information from PETREL, how to export your grid and the other properties that you need to import into Eclipse. Okay. Then we have some RFT data here, description of the field and all of that. So we'll have a detailed data set to work with. So now you can see clearly that we have a very huge course ahead of us. Now I'll go back, and then it's time to go on and launch the ECLIPSE simulator. We don't have any time to waste, so I just want to go straight to the point. So let me minimize this so that I go on to start the ECLIPSE simulator program. So after installing the ECLIPSE program on your computer, you're going to find something like this. It's called a simulation launcher, ECLIPSE simulation launcher, right? So I'm going to click on it, and this is going to launch the ECLIPSE program. Now, after launching the ECLIPSE program, which is the simulation launcher, of course, this is the window you're going to find. Now, depending on the version of ECLIPSE that you're using, you may have a slightly different interface of this simulation launcher. But in any case, we're still going to access the same information. Now, if you're using 2010 version, this is what you should have. If you have 2009 version and earlier, yeah, the launcher you're going to have will be a little bit different from this. Okay. Now, from this launcher, the first thing you're going to notice is that we have something like an explorer, a data explorer on the left hand side here. Okay, and the explorer is being divided into different sections. We have this first section here, which is named simulators. So here you have all of the simulators which are installed on your computer. If you have Intersect installed on your computer, it's also going to be displayed here. Okay, now this one that is called Eclipse is actually named Eclipse Blackoil Simulator, or E100 for short. And then this one is E300, which is Eclipse Compositional Simulator. Okay, in the course of the training, I am going to tell you the difference between those two, but basically we're going to be making use of the Eclipse Blackoil Simulator E100 to run all our simulations. Okay, I'll tell you why. Then below that, we have this other group of applications which is named Eclipse Pre and Post Processor applications. So I am going to take a few seconds to explain what this means, the preprocessors and post-processor. So let's say we have a simulator which is going to run all our computations for us. In this case, E100, the Blackoil simulator. Now, all of the tasks that you need to complete before you perform that simulation run are called pre-simulation. Okay, so you have some of these applications here that are used to perform your pre-simulation tasks. And then after the simulation is complete, what are the other tasks that you perform? Now, those ones are called post-simulation. So for pre-simulation, we have tasks like gathering the data, creating a data file, and all that. For post-simulation, we have tasks such as viewing results, analyzing results, and so on. And we are going to talk about a few of them. But then at this point, to begin, of course, we are going to make use of a preprocessor. We are going to use the Eclipse Office to build a model. Now, building a model basically means that you are creating a simulation data file. We are going to learn about what the data file is, and I am going to teach you how to create this data file. Once the data file is complete, then you come here to the E100, that is the Eclipse Blackoil simulator, to import it by using this button which is named Add Dataset. So you bring the dataset in and then you click on this button to run your simulation. Now we're going to come to this. So let's go to the Eclipse Office by clicking on it, and then you come here to click on the Run button. But before you click on the Run button, you want to select a folder. All of your input files and output files are going to be stored in it. The Eclipse simulation normally generates a lot of files. So to keep it neat, you want to arrange them all in a single folder. Okay? Now you can use this Browse button to locate that folder, or you simply come here and type it in if you know it. This is the folder that we're going to be working from, okay? This demo folder. So what I want to do is to copy this link here, is allowed. Then you come here and paste it. So we're going to be working from this directory, okay? Now I can come here to click on the Run button, and then you wait for a few seconds, maybe 3 to 5 seconds. Then the Eclipse Office interface is up. Okay, before we go on, I want to let you know something, that when you are working with Eclipse, you expect to see a lot of windows. So as you try to perform one task, a new window is open without closing the other one. So you might have up to 4, 5 windows open at the same time. And then you want to keep track of exactly what you are doing, okay? Alright, to keep our desktop clean, we can minimize some of those windows that we are not using at this time. For instance, this simulation launcher, we are done with it for now. So you can minimize it. You can even afford to close it if you want. But I want to minimize it. And now we're focusing on the Eclipse Office interface. And you'll notice that it looks like every other Windows program, okay, close to it. We have the menu bar here, we have some tabs here, and each of the tab represents a different application, maybe a preprocessor or a post-processor, as the case may be. And then down here you have some other tabs which are grayed out. They are grayed out because we have not created any project. All right. So I am going to show you how to create a project now. You come to File, and you're going to say New Project. You can actually open an existing one if you have, but let's create a new project. If I select this, then it's going to open a new window for me where I can specify the name of the project I'm trying to create. Now you can see that it takes us directly to this folder that we are going to be working from, just because we entered it in the simulation launcher. All right. I want to create a new project, and I want it to be stored in this folder here, demo folder. So I'll open it, and then I want to name this one class 1. There is a little rule that you must observe when you're trying to name your project. You must ensure that you don't have any space between the characters that you type in. Spaces are not allowed, right? So you can see that I named this one class_1 and not class space 1. Take note of that. Then if you are creating a new Eclipse Office project, you must ensure that the right extension is selected. So the extension is .off, all right? So once that is checked, we can go on to click on the Open button. And the project has been created, class_1. But there is no information in it yet. We have not added any data to it. A very quick way to know the type of data that has been added or that has not been added to your project is by looking at this table here. So you can see that everything is blank. So whichever section that you have added data to is going to show here, all right? And to add data to your simulation project, there are 2 ways or about 3 ways. You can come here to use the data manager, and then you begin to enter all your data one after the other, or you can simply import an existing case. All right, let me begin with the data manager. If I click on this button here which says data manager, what do we have? We have a new window again, which is called data manager module, and then on that window you have different sections. Now each of these sections represent the type of data that goes into your project, data that are going to be used to describe your reservoir model. So we'll have the case definition section, the grid section, the PVT, scal, initialization, and so on. Now let me just show you around in the case definition section. By clicking on it, it's going to open yet a new window. So you see what I was talking about, windows upon windows upon windows. So you need to ensure that you are keeping track and you know what you're doing. So from the case definition manager, the first thing you want to do is to select your simulator. And after that, you have some tabs here. On the first tab, which is named General, you can enter your simulation title, the simulation start date, and then you select the model dimensions. Talking about the number of cells in your simulation grid. We're going to talk about this later. Now, once you're done with the General tab, you go on to the Reservoir tab. Here, you can define a couple of things, which include aquifer, the type of reservoir permeability you have, the raw compaction model, the grid and geometry type, and so on. Then you move on to the PVT tab, where you get to select the type of fluids you have in your reservoir. Okay, and you have a couple of other tabs here. But for now, I am going to close this one. I have not made any alterations. I'll close the data manager module as well. Now I want to show you a second method you can use to bring in data into your office project. So I'll come here to click on case, and from case menu you have the import data. So if I click on the import data, it takes me directly into the folder where I am working from. Now this is the data file that I mentioned. How do you know it's a data file? It has this extension .data, and as you are importing it, also ensure that .data is selected here. Alright, we're going to talk more about the data file later, but let's just import it for now. So by selecting it, I'll click on the open button, and this automatically loads all of the information which is in the data file. Now it took about 8 seconds to load all this information into our Eclipse project, and then down here you see the table has been populated with information. So this means that in that data file that was imported, we have PVT, we have scal in it, we have initialization data in it, regions, schedule, and summary. Okay, we're going to talk about what each of these sections mean in another video, but let's go on to see how to access this data anyway from Eclipse Office. I'll go back to the data manager, and this time if I click on case definition, see what I have. We have some information entered here already. Now we have some numbers in the model dimensions. For reservoir, aquifers have been selected. For PVT, we have water, oil, gas, and dissolved gas selected already. For scal, we have endpoint scaling selected and some other stuff here. All this information were actually stored in that data file. So if you want to create a data file, you can simply use the Eclipse Office to build this data file, and it's going to create that kind of file for you. Or you go directly to the Windows Notepad application and start writing codes. These codes are referred to as keywords, all right? So for you to be able to write these codes, you need to learn those keywords, because if you know those keywords, you'll be able to understand how the Eclipse program works. Okay? And apart from that, in some cases, you even need to go into your data file and make some adjustments, some corrections to some data that are not suitable for the reservoir that you are trying to describe. All right, we're going to come back to all of that, okay? So for now, I'm going to click on the red button to close all these windows because we are not going to alter anything. Now at this point, we have an Eclipse Office project which has been populated with reservoir data. We can save this Office project the same way you save information in almost every Windows program. Click on File, then say Save Project. So once you say Save Project, it's saved and is updated. Now to confirm this, if you go back to the folder where we are working from, the demo model, and you open it, you see, initially we had just the data file. But after creating the Office project, we now have the class_1.off. And in this class_1.off project, we have all this information in it. Now, all this information can also be opened with Notepad. They are like the data file. But the only difference is that while the data file has been named .data, all these other ones have been named .inc, include files. Alright, I'm going to tell you what all of these things mean, but they are very important things for you to know. So let me minimize this again, so we can go back to the Eclipse Office. So we have created an Eclipse Office project. We have been able to import a data file, and we have been able to save it. So after this time, the next thing normally will be to go on and run your simulation because you have been able to build a model. Now there are two ways you can run your simulation as well, okay? You can select the run button directly from the Eclipse Office. So if I select this button, it's going to open the run manager where I can click on the go button to submit the simulation run to Eclipse, and it begins to run the simulation. Or you simply go directly to the Eclipse Simulator itself. That is the one we talked about on the simulation launcher here. So you can go on to add dataset, all right? And if I click on add dataset, it will prompt me to bring in this data file. If I click on it and I click on open, you see the data file has been added, the same data file that was imported into our Office project. So you can now run your simulation either from the Eclipse Office directly or from the E100 simulator directly. Whichever option you have selected, all you need to do is to click on the run button or the go button. So let's do that. If I click on this button here, so the E100 simulator opens up a command prompt where you can monitor the progress of your simulation run. Now the run has begun. You can see how it's performing all those computations. So once the computation is complete, you're going to see a little summary at the bottom. All right, here we have it. The simulation is complete. It completed with 0 errors. So you can now go on to click on the red button here to close the command prompt. Your results have been saved. Now on the simulation launcher, you have some reports about your simulation. It completed without errors. And the next thing you want to look out for is this button here which says open PRT. The PRT file stores results from this simulation run. All right. I am not going into that for now. So I'll simply click on this close button again, or let me minimize the simulation launcher. Now once all of that is done, the simulation run is complete, I can close this one as well. You can now use this button here which says Result Viewer to view all the necessary results that you are interested in looking at and in analyzing. Alright, I want to keep this simple. I am going to end this video here. In the next video, which I am going to drop before this week runs out, I am going to show you more about how to view results, and then we'll begin to talk about the data file. Okay, if you have enjoyed this little introduction to the Eclipse simulation training that I want to be teaching you, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also share the links to this playlist, to this YouTube channel with your friends so that they can join us. I mean, the more persons that we have participating in the training, the better for us, because we're going to have a lot of information to share with each other. You're going to learn from me, and I'm going to learn from you all as well. If you have any questions, you can contact me on the following email. You can drop a message in the comment section. You can join our group on Facebook. We have a page on Facebook which has been dedicated for this course. You can share images there. You can share other type of information there. Let's interact. Thank you.